Content is everything right now as a mortgage broker. You need to have content to build a brand because content is the fastest way to generate leads. We originally came from a source we had to rely on introducers for leads, but we don't have to do that anymore. In the world today, as a mortgage broker, you can generate all your own leads, which I think is amazing and it's wonderful and it's great. The problem is, it's not as easy as it looks. And there's lots of different types of content. There's entertaining content, there's educational content, all these different things that people do. Now, the difference, just so you know, between entertaining and educational, entertaining is obviously entertaining people. Educational is educating them on something that they need to know about that they may find valuable and useful in their lives. And obviously, it doesn't take a genius to figure out, as a mortgage broker, which one of these do you need to be? Well, you actually should be doing educational content. If you are doing entertainment content as a broker, this could be one of the reasons why, firstly, why people aren't actually using you, because you're trying to hit the wrong kind of points. That's a whole other topic for a whole other video, because in today's video, what we're actually going to be looking at is we're going to be looking at 6 mistakes brokers make with educational content and why it's probably not landing how they hoped, okay? So if you hear sayings like, I'm giving loads of value, well, I actually myself, hear people saying, I give loads of value, but nobody is biting. You see, if you are, you might be educating, but you might not be doing it correctly. You might be making these 6 mistakes. So let's fix that. The first one we have is that you are overloading the audience. Too much information is going to create instant overwhelm. Your job is to simplify, not to impress. So focus on one clear idea per post. Really basic stuff, this, and one that a lot of people get wrong is, especially in short form vertical content, if we think like mobile phone, Instagram, Facebook Reels, Instagram Reels, TikToks, stuff like that. Well, that type of content, we're looking at maybe 20 to 45 seconds, probably sweet spot being 30 seconds. That's not a lot of time. And yet some people want to try and teach an entire masterclass on how to get a mortgage in that time. Stick to one point you're trying to get across. And the way that I recommend people do this, stick to one point trying to get across. If you start deviating to another point, start the video again, stick to that one point, and then make another video about the second point. But what you'll find here as well is that when people say, I don't have enough ideas, I don't know what to make, you'll start realizing there's loads of things to make. You'll never run out of content ideas because you'll constantly keep building off of it. Remember, these are bite-sized, snackable chunks most of the time that's being thrown out on social media. You do not want to overwhelm them. If you overwhelm them, they're going to go to somebody else, okay? Because clarity sells, confusion doesn't. Number 2 is no hook to grab attention, okay? If the first line doesn't stop that scroll, it doesn't matter how good the content is. You need to lead with curiosity, tension, or a bold statement. So hooks are vital. The biggest mistake I see people make when it comes to hooks is if you open your video and you're like, hey, it's John here from 123 Finance. I hope you're having a good day. That is awful. I don't care about you, John. No disrespect, whoever hypothetical John is. I'm sure you're lovely. But we don't care at that point. We need to know straight away. You've got that first 3 seconds. That 3 seconds should be straight in with exactly what it is. Lead with a curiosity, tension, or a bold statement. Something that makes people go bang and catch them straight away. If you watch this video, and these videos are long form videos. These are YouTube videos. These are sometimes consumed as podcasts. So they are different to what you would normally do, but similar, and I'm sure I'll do videos on that later on. If you even watched the beginning of this one, I'm still letting straight in. So, do you know this? You don't, in fact, we haven't even said, hey, I'm Ash. You don't even know. I just assume you know who I am, but I am aware that some people don't, but I assume you do. Okay, you want to move straight into the content. If you don't lead with a hook, that's going to be a bad one. Another issue with hooks that people make, which I think is a big one, is, hey, good morning, or good afternoon, or hope you're having a good Monday. I might not see that content in the morning or on a Monday. I might be seeing it at 10 o'clock at night on a Friday because it depends on when that content's being served. So remember that. Make the content evergreen. And the reason why we do this a lot of times is we're just reacting how we would react normally to somebody else. Don't do that. So just start with a hook, catch them. It's like 1 to 2 sentences, so for 3 to 5 seconds, and then straight into the value. So it's hook, value, action, meaning do something. That's kind of what you want to be going for. The next one, number 3, is teaching like a teacher. Okay, you're not marking homework, you're solving real problems. So you want to ditch that classroom tone and talk like a coach, not a lecturer. The key to this is passion. You want to show you're really passionate about the subject that we're talking about. And passion will sell. It doesn't really matter what you say. If you're passionate about it, people will be able to see that. And this has been the secret sauce to my entire success, both as a broker and as a coach, and even as an estate agent right at the beginning. I've always been very passionate about what I do. You can hear that in my voice. I go off into rants, my tonality, I'm moving around a lot. It's all because I love what I do and I'm very passionate about it. But I'm also aware that passion comes across as someone who knows what they're doing, an authority. If you go down the point of, let me tell you what you need to know, swap rates are blah, 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 and you're teaching or you're lecturing, then you've lost that juice, because now it just looks like you're reading off of notes off of a sheet. And there is a fine line with this of like, you should be using teleprompter content for stuff, but you've got to learn how to still infuse that passion into it. And if you're not doing that, you need to get away from that and do something else. It's a really tough line, but you really want to start thinking like their coach and showing how you genuinely feel about it. And it's funny because I speak to clients and brokers about this all the time. And if I ask them a question, they're really enthused about it. Oh, I can't believe this, I can't believe that. I'm like, yeah, then show that. Show that in your content. Share how you feel. I had someone say to me actually a couple of days ago, they're like, I love your rants. And I was like, well, it's just, again, I'm passionate. You're passionate. Show it. You'll do well. Number 4 we have is skipping the why. Telling someone what to do isn't enough. Explain why it matters or they won't act. People don't like being told what to do at all. No one likes being told what to do. No client of mine likes being told that they need to sell insurance in a different way or even at all. You have to explain why. And I actually do this a lot with any of my content. We're always explaining why. So even this, I've explained at the beginning and then I'm going to dive deeper into the why about it. So you need to explain why someone should care about certain things. Now what's really interesting with this is you can start with that vanilla stuff, of course. Why would someone care about fixed rates? But you can actually move, and this is what I would advise people do, they move away from some of that more generic stuff and they start talking about what clients are asking them, questions that are coming through all the time, and then answering those questions as to why that's important. Answering that question of why, people will start to come to you because they feel, again, you come across as somebody who knows. Most of the time, and we all know this, we've all been in the industry long enough, spoiler on this one is a lot of the time, people are just saying it because someone told them before. Like, because they were told, they were trained at Connells and they don't know any better. Like, nothing wrong with Connells, but like, you know, there's a lot of people who are just doing stuff purely because that's what they did when they were at Connells. And or, you know, equivalent countrywide. They're all the same now. So when they say Connells, it just means the same. The Goliaths is what I call them. We're the Davids, they're the Goliaths. If you're an advisor who can explain a bit more as to why, you'll probably win them over. And the content will start to show and resonate with people better. Number 5 we have is no next step. I love this one. You gave great value, then you left them hanging. There is no CTA, and that will mean no action. So invite them to comment, share, DM, take the next step, whatever. Of course, if you're going to do some sort of what I would class a hard CTA, you do need to get it signed off by your network. I am on board with that, but I'm not on board with soft CTAs with network sign-off. So let me explain what the differences are. A hard CTA is come and buy my stuff. So that's what it's not, from my understanding, that's what it is. So a hard CTA is like, if you need help, book a call, contact me, effectively calling to action to work with you. That is a hard call to action. A soft call to action would be, if you enjoyed this, then let me know in the comments. If you have a question, let me know in the comments. Speak to an advisor if you need help. Again, that's a soft call to action. Go and look for some help. Send me a DM if you have any questions. Whatever, share it with your friends. These are soft call to actions. In other words, how I would do that is you are asking them to act, to do something next in the sequence. It means the next part of the sequence, whatever that sequence is that you've decided it will be. That is a soft call to action. Now, if you have no call to action, stuff gets really, really bad, really quick, never buys. Sometimes it's they're confused of what to do the next step. Other times they think they finished the next step. And this actually is something I've seen many times where people educate. I had a client years ago who did this, who was doing loads of TikTok content, talking loads about rates and different lenders and all that stuff. And then people were commenting going, thanks so much. I went to my advisor and he said, you know, like he said that deal was available. Thank you. And they genuinely assumed, and he was a broker and he was getting really annoyed. He was like, I don't understand. I was like, really obvious. They assume you're just somebody who's just talking about rates. They don't think you're a broker because you've not told them to do anything afterwards. You're not making it clear enough what it is you do and what the next step should be. You'll see at the end of this video, there's going to be a video you should click on. I'm going to say, click on this X video and you will do well. That's because that's the next step in the call to action. You should have that in yours. If you don't, you're going to be losing business. Number 6 is sounding like every other broker. Your voice, your tone, your stories are your edge. Don't hide behind generic advice. Inject you into it. I think this one is becoming more and more important as AI is coming up. The more and more we need to start showing our own personality and our own expertise. Now, I actually think what you should be doing with this is taking the generic questions we know people want and then injecting your own personality into that and your own stories and your own thoughts around it. And unique thought is what is going to make people stand out, not generic everything. It's unique perspective and unique individuality. And that only comes from our own experiences. I was literally talking about this to my wife actually yesterday. I said, I've been in the property finance kind of space, coaching and estate agency and mortgages for like coming up to 13 years, which for me, I was like, that's crazy. There's so much stuff I've learned and stories and funny things. I've worked on land, new homes, all different stuff. And there's so many different stories with that. And I'm like, okay, this is what injects into my content. I said, that's what makes me unique, is this unique part of me that I've had these experiences. There's lots of people who've had similar experiences to me, but not mine. It's that jarhead thing. This is my rifle. There are many like it, but this one is mine. It's exactly the same thing, is that you have these experiences. And when I share those experiences, people relate to them. When I read generic scripts, people don't. You need to share yourself. And I think if you are not doing that, and this is not, by the way, drowning them in stuff that's not relevant. It's just you need to focus on trying to be unique and yourself. And if you do that, you're going to do very, very well. So remember, educational content only works if it connects. And if it doesn't connect, it's just going to be like white noise. It will not do very well. Now, if you want to check out a video on how you can make great content, check out this video on screen now, which is the marketing video that all you need to watch. It's my deep dive if you want to understand the basics of everything to do with mortgage marketing. Give it a click. It's on screen now.